Hey everyone, Professor Baldwin here, and today we have another solve and check polynomial. Remember that in order to solve and check, you need to have that polynomial in standard form. So, first step here is to distribute the x through the parentheses. That'll give us 2x squared plus 5x equals 3. And remember, standard form is when all of the terms of the polynomial are on the left and it's equal to 0 on the right. So we'll subtract 3 from both sides, and that gives us 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So now our polynomial is in standard form, so we're going to factor it. And because our leading coefficient here is a 2 and not a 1, we're going to use that key number method, or a times c, 2 times negative 3 equals negative 6, and b, the coefficient of our middle term, is 5. And we're looking for those two values that multiply to negative 6, but add to 5. And those two values are going to be, 6 and a negative 1. Remember, these two values are what we use to rewrite that middle term. So we have 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3 equals 0. Now notice that you could have written that middle term with the values in the opposite order. So you could have done minus 1x plus 6x minus 3 equals 0. The order of these two doesn't matter. So you may see that you want to rearrange them for it to be easier to factor with grouping. Now, when we factor by grouping, we notice that this first grouping has 2x in common, and that leaves x plus 3. And we need to have that same binomial of x plus 3 in our second grouping, so we have to factor out a negative 1. Factor out the binomial they have in common, x plus 3, and we have 2x minus 1 as our remaining binomial. Now, I'm going to go through the same process with those middle terms in a different order, just to show you that you'll end up with the exact same factoring. So notice with our grouping here, they only have an x in common, and that leaves behind 2x minus 1. And our second grouping, we need to have the binomial 2x minus 1, and to do that, we have to factor out a positive 3. And then, when you factor out the binomial they have in common, 2x minus 1, you have the remaining binomial of x plus 3. So notice that both of our factors are the same. So they both have the same two binomials. Now our last step here is to solve and use the zero product property. X plus 3 equals 0, or 2x minus 1 equals 0. Solving the first one, we need to isolate x, so subtract 3 from both sides, and we get that x equals negative 3. And for the second one, we need to add 1 to both sides, and that gives us 2x equals 1, and divide by 2 so that we have x all alone, and we have x equals 1/2. And finally, when you have your answers, always check. And remember, you do the check using that original equation, which was x times 2x plus 5 equals 3. So first we'll check the negative 3. That would be negative 3 times 2 times negative 3 plus 5 equals 3. Simplifying inside the parentheses, we get negative 6 plus 5. Again, the parentheses. Oops, that's a parenthesis. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. 3 does equal 3, so we know that our answer of x equals negative 3 is correct. So now we need to check x equals 1/2. So we have 1/2 times 2 times 1/2 plus 5 equals 3. Start inside those parentheses. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Continue in the parentheses. So we have 1/2 times 6. And 1/2 times 6 is 3. So 3 equals 3. Checks. So x equals 1/2 is also an answer. So our final answer would be x equals -3 or 1/2.